Some inappropriate things. When he met my dad for the first time, he told my dad that he's not going to marry me.
Honest opinion. I can't lie.
But that's something that you can hold back.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're talking to you guys today. Well, I guess I'm not talking to you guys. I'm doing an Ask Kojo section. Yes, I want you guys to bring your dilemmas to the table, bring them to the fray, bring them to me, okay? I want to hear your particular dilemmas you have today. This will be the first time you get to, this will be another day you can ask whatever you want, and we'll be able to answer your questions. Listen, look, you know, we love to talk relationships around here, and I thought I'd play a clip for you guys to kind of start the conversation going. Okay, so I'm going to put a link in the chat if you want to be able to have your dilemma. We're going to be answered. Then by all means, click on the link to join and say your dilemma. So, okay. But before we do that, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. We appreciate you guys for joining us again once more on this late evening on a Tuesday night. And shout out to the new members too, Theodore, Daphne, Mosh, Mr. Don't Play, Delay, I can't pronounce the name, I'm sure I'm wrong, Nish, Alexis, and we have also Sean and Jacqueline Poe. Thank you guys for joining the membership. Again, if you haven't joined it, it's $1, £1. It's not a membership live today. We've already done that membership live, which was really good as well, really funny. But this particular one here was all about asking your dilemmas. What do you want to know? What dating questions do you guys have? Maybe you got some issues right now that you're facing and you want to be able to get some answers. And this tonight will be the night you can ask those questions. But before we get into the deep conversations, again, like, share, subscribe to the channel. Okay, like, share, subscribe to the channel. We want to be able to hear your thoughts as well, but first and foremost, like it, because we don't want you to be here and you not to be part of the family and a part of the team. Okay, all right. Some of you are already missing the membership live, which are crazy. We dropped some gems in there. We were talking about FWBs, talking about control and power, and talking about in our different temperaments. So don't miss out on some of these great conversations we're having on this platform as well. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot, okay? All right? It's hot out there. And if you haven't done so as well, you can join also and join our Patreon, and that will allow you to have access to Discord and also get yourself some merchandise. Look, we've got one here. You saw me wearing it in the last live, but you can get one of these and get yourself a hoodie, a jacket, whatever, as well. All right, there's a lot to get involved with on this channel. Okay, so we're going to talk about, again, we're going to have our Ask Kojo section. Let me put a little thing on here as well. Okay, ask me any question. Okay. And we're going to get deep into this situation. But I'm going to analyze a clip that was played on a show called Blue Therapy, because this moment was crazy. Okay, all right, some dating tip conversation. Let's go.
Does this affect you?
Yeah, of course it does. He will say some inappropriate things. When he met my dad for the first time, he told my dad that he's not going to marry me.
Honest opinion. I can't lie.
But that's something that you can hold
that's from
back.
my
And you don't
past.
have.
My first question, let me just be real with you and have a real conversation right now. Why is anybody in a relationship? Why is anybody in a relationship? Okay? Why is anybody in a relationship with somebody who says they told your dad they didn't want to marry you? And then you question him later on about saying you want, when is he going to pop the question? Baby? It's given delusional. And a lot of people can be in a relationship like this, where they are in a relationship of convenience and desperation. You are in it because you are desperate not to be alone, and desperate not to, be isolated, and desperate not to have to go through your feelings on your own. But to accept the fact that a brother just told you that he told your dad to his face, I am marrying your daughter. That is a mazzoline. It's a mazzoline because you actually wanted to get married, right? So how do we find ourselves in these kind of dating predicaments? Well, we find ourselves in in dating predicaments like this because we are desperate. We are starved of emotional care. We don't value ourselves. We lack confidence. And in fact, this list that I'm going through is very similar to the list I spoke about, the emotional parent being absent. So an emotional parent, a parent who should be emotionally invested, is actually absent. And therefore, these are some of the symptoms that actually come along with it. Right? These are some of the symptoms that go along with it. So when we're talking about relationships and talking about, some of the things that people go through, that lack of confidence, lack of trust, trouble setting boundaries, difficulty seeing self accurately, avoiding connection, overreacting. These are all symptoms of a wounded male or woman who has a parent that was absent in their childhood. You get me? So for us to hear that the brother could be so confident to say to her dad, with all due respect, listen, I'm going to be real with you. I'm not about it, and I'm not here for the marriage and thing. Right? Sis is wasting her time because she wants something different to what he wants. But because they got a kid together, which also makes it more difficult, she's also overthinking it and going, do you know what? I could be in this relationship. I can love in a relationship. I can be loved. And I'm not saying that he doesn't love her. What I'm saying is that your things are not aligned. It's not aligned. Right? It needs to be aligned. She needs to get herself back into alignment with that situation. Okay? All right? So, this was one of the interesting situations too. Because, I think, when you're in a relationship, you have to be very honest with yourself as to, when things are happening, how do you handle it? And I felt like this situation here was a prime example of someone not fully understanding how their behavior impacts their actual partner, and how their behavior is coming across as being disgusting, right? So I'm gonna play a little clip and you'll see what I mean as well.
Oh man, you basically sucked his dick. Basically, bro, you're basically moving like a whore, because that's some whore type shit. That's not like a normal, a wife or a loyal girlfriend will not move like that. Where you going?
Now they have an argument, and in this relationship, and they have an argument because they start talking about that she took somebody else's number, and he said it's basically like you being a whore and you sucking someone's D. Like, disrespect on this level should never be tolerated in a relationship. Never. Should never be tolerated in a relationship. The fact that he would happily, extremely compare you to say that, it's like you're sucking dick, is to tell you an indication of what he actually feels about you. Right? It's an indication to see how he values you, because he's now comparing you to a hoe because you took someone's number. I just need you to deep that. Right? He's literally called her a hoe simply based on the fact that he has seen her take someone's number. That's it. That's a very big extreme to go to. A very big extreme. So for him to go to that space, I'll be honest with you, it's an indication of the lack of respect that he has for his girlfriend and his potential future wife if he's looking to get her. But he doesn't want to even get married either. But it's a lack of respect. Okay, I want to go to another part. About dating as well, and we were speaking about this actually, funny enough, in our live as well. But
For a bit.
So you've been on and off for a few years.
Pretty much, yeah. I tried to reach out to her to make it work, but she was busy with her multi-millionaire footballer boyfriend. So
With
I just
who?
She had a boyfriend who was a footballer.
I had no choice but to move on, and
okay, so this story is about to get wild. You're gonna hear it in a second or two. I'll put the video up, and basically what's gonna happen is she gave up her relationship. Ooh, baby, she gave up that relationship. And he messed it up. The ex-boyfriend messed it up for her because she allowed him to break boundaries. Let's listen to this.
he used to do everything for me. Sorry, it's just a bit weird because he's here, but when I was living my life, he was literally dying to get back with me.
How did you know that?
Because of what he'd done after.
What did you do after?
I wasn't dying. Yeah.
He was.
So basically, and I'll play some more clips so you can actually see it. The gentleman actually, who's our partner now, was an ex at the time. He actually pursued her while she had a man who was a sportsman, a soccer player, and the soccer player had money and she was taking care of her. But she herself, and shout out to living in Charlotte NC, Tanya M. Thornton, we appreciate you for joining the membership. She herself said, basically, that he pursued her to a point where she had to give up that relationship. Why are we dating people and then allowing our exes to come back into the picture and the fold? Why are we moving on and then find ourselves scooting backwards? Well, when people scoot backwards, in all reality, the reason why people are scooting backwards is simply because what's in front of them, they feel is not good enough. And it doesn't mean that it's not good enough. It just means that's how they perceive it to be, because they perceive that old thing as being better than the new thing. Now, she went back to the old ex, but only after playing games. Right? Let me bring this up again. That's a good point, Brooklyn. Then, Brooke, if this is your issue, come up and have a conversation, Brooke. If this is your part, what you've seen, come up, have a conversation. We'll definitely have a talk with you about your situation.
Man should look after his woman,
I do look after you.
It looks like you're both on a different page here. Okay.
If it came down to, having to decide to leave this relationship if my standards are not met, 100%.
Oh, hold on.
We're just friends kind of thing. And then she just couldn't stay away.
It's not something that I regret. Well, I don't know, Okay, I'll put it like this. I wouldn't have regretted it if T was treating me properly.
What do you mean treating you? Clocked what building she lived in. And I may have gotten an apartment in the same building.
And that was a deliberate move?
To cause trouble.
Yeah, it was deliberate. Like, it was a nice area, you know, we had a...
Old boy moved into the same block that she was in. If she doesn't know that this is crazy, I don't know what to tell you. If she doesn't know that this is crazy, I don't know what to tell you. Like that is an epitome of craziness, right? Where someone actually, so your ex moves in to the same building that you're in, and then ends up stealing you from the current man that you're in. And not only that, then they were chilling, vibing. She was going to his condo. He was coming to her condo or going to her apartment, and they were going to each other's apartment. And her actual partner at the time found out, and then ended the relationship. I'm gonna just say, like, you know what I mean, like, when you don't know what safety is, when you don't know what security is, when you don't know what a good, healthy relationship looks like, toxicity will always win for you, because you're used to that level of dysfunction and you're trying to make it functional. You're used to a certain level of dysfunction and you're trying to make it functional, right? So for me personally, yeah, don't do that, sis. Don't stay in such a situation as well. All right, cool, guys. Listen, we've got the live open now. We want you guys to use the link. What is your dating dilemmas? What are your dating dilemmas today? We want to hear your dilemmas and what you guys have experienced or what you guys have questions for. If you have a question around dating, if you're dating currently, maybe you want some advice, this is the time to do it, because we got an hour on tonight. I don't want to waste much time, you know what I'm saying? It's getting late in the day, baby, okay? All right, so if you've got a dilemma, this will be a great time. Just click on the link and let's get the conversation going, all right? Click on that link, get the conversation going. Ask me a question that you'd like for me to answer, and I will do so as well, okay? Let's see. Let's wait a few minutes or two. No, you don't have to be on camera. You don't have to be on camera. You have to be on camera. You don't have to be on camera. So if you want to come on, you don't have to be on camera. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about having to show your face. I know some of you are, you know, working some important jobs. So please, by all means, join. Come and have your say. Come and ask me a question. We'll definitely be here to answer your questions as well. All right. In the meantime, like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell button for notifications of the uploads. Okay. All right. And we'd love to get your perspectives and your points as well. Okay. All right. Cool. In the meantime, let me finish off what we're doing with the show. So let me bring this back up. Okay. All right.
That you promised you was going to be there and you didn't turn up.
What actually happened?
So there was an unplanned pregnancy, and he had promised that he would come with me to.
So there was an unplanned pregnancy in their situation, and the gentleman promised he would go with her to the abortion clinic. In the end, he ended up not going to the abortion clinic with her. Now, why was it such an issue? Well, first and foremost, because he didn't actually support her in that moment. It was an emotional issue. He didn't emotionally support her. But the story actually thickens, because actually how he felt about the pregnancy was that he actually wanted to keep the child, right? So that was also another aspect to the conversation.
You know, essentially abort it. But he left me. I didn't hear from him. He didn't tell me that he wasn't coming with me.
So he actually ended up ghosting her for a period of time, where he didn't actually talk to her for a little while and let her go through it alone. It's political, right? It's political. And so before I give my synopsis, I wanted to show you that you guys get all the clip in it, because it's actually a twist in the story, okay? All right, so right now we're looking at him going, he emotionally support her, and right so. Listen.
And I did it myself.
Cried out.
You didn't even check up on me. Like, what man does that?
We get to the sky.
Now, the emotional ramifications, that is a very painful, sad reality, right? This is a very heavy topic, because the transformation mentally and even physically that your body goes through, going through such a situation, can be very painful and very difficult time. And not to have the person who's contributed towards that condition be there around you at a time can be very painful, right? Can be very, very painful. And yes, it is her boyfriend. So unfortunately, you know, he didn't support her in that way, and she felt so unprotected and unloved in those moments. Now, listen up.
That was going through your mind on that day, or was it something else?
To be honest, the reason why I didn't show up was because I didn't want us to get rid of it.
Did you say this to her?
Yeah, I said it to her.
Now, like I said, the twist in the story is the reason why he didn't show up is because he told her he didn't want her to abort the baby. Shit. He did not want her to abort the baby. Now, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough conversation now, because we're going to have a real conversation now. Right? See, the twist in the tail of him wanting the child actually changes the situation dramatically. Right? Listen again.
But I didn't really get a response.
I thought, by me not showing up, she's not going to go through.
I want you to listen to what he just said, right?
I didn't want us to get rid of it.
Did you say this to her?
Yeah, I said it to her. But I didn't really get a response.
I thought, by me not showing up, she's not going to go through with it.
Before I jumped, I was like, oh my God. It absolutely changes everything. It changes absolutely everything. Because number one, he said he wanted a child. Number two, he told her. Number three, she actually ghosted him. You know what I mean? Right? She actually ghosted him. Right? And so, I love this, because we're going to have a little bit of I'm sure we're going to have a little bit of a debate here, right? Before you support her, there has to be an understanding of the other person's perspective. Right? Because number one, I've told you I wanted a child. This is now a baby who's alive to me. Right? So now this isn't about just aborting. Now this is, I want to make it very clear, and I don't want to be shouting anybody who has done an abortion. I want to make it very clear as the other person's perspective. This isn't a usual where we both wanted it gone and it's gone. Now the baby that you're aborting now no longer becomes just a baby, becomes my child that you're now killing. You understand what I'm saying to you? I've told you and you've ignored me. So now we've got both parties. You know what I'm saying to you? We've got both parties being an issue in the situation. Right? It's not about saying one person is wrong. It's about both parties being an issue. Right? Both parties are going through something at this moment with different perspectives. Right? And now what I'm hearing, okay, is a lot of chat of excuses. We're already starting the excuses. The excuses don't need to happen. Simply put, there are two perspectives on this situation. One person wanted to get rid of it, which she has every right to want to do. The other person wants to keep the child. Now we have two very strong perspectives. And now we've got both parties ghosting one another. You're both an issue. They're both an issue. If I tell you I want to keep a child and you ghost me, you are no better than me ghosting you in that same position when you want me to support you emotionally, when you're going to do something that I don't want you to do, which is taking the life of a child that I believe that I want to have. So again, we got a question of rights here. Someone might say, well, a woman has every right to do what she does. She does. Both parties had an issue here. You know? Both parties had a major, major issue here. And both of them were wrong in the way they handled it. Do you get what I'm saying to you? And it's interesting because people automatically took her side without actually hearing the man's side of this. Because usually people don't consider what the man feels. But if he's already committed himself to the fact that he has a child, that, or at least he's thinking to himself, I'm going to have a kid, I'm going to have a child, I'm going to have someone of my own, and I tell you, and I communicate that to you, and I don't hear nothing back, you know what I'm saying to you? Now, someone did ask a question, why are they still dating? Well, you know, sometimes you think you can get over things. Sometimes you don't realize the impact of how heavy both of your decisions were on the relationship. And sometimes you sweep it underneath, you sweep it underneath the carpet and move right past it, instead of actually dealing with the core emotional issues at that point. Right? So, in some sense, I actually get why he ghosted her. I totally get it. I totally understand. And I would never make him feel bad about why he ghosted her. Because at that point, it's very easy to talk about the perspective of, well, he should support her. He should have been around there for him. I hear you. But I don't want to be part of something that I believe that now we have a child. Because I'm going to see it, from my perspective, I'm going to see it as we're going to have a child. We're going to have life. And you abort it. You know what I mean? This is not a plan B. This is like actual child. So now we've got two people with two very strong perspectives. You get what I'm saying to you? Right? Got two strong perspectives. She's ignored him. He's ghosted her, whatever. And now we've got two people who are going to be very, very hurt. There needs to be, if they're going to make this relationship work, there's going to need to be for a very strong, and I mean very strong, heavy, strong work being done to heal those wounds. Because for her, from her perspective, she's going to feel like she was abandoned in her most dire point of need. Right? She's going to feel like she was exposed and unprotected in her time of vulnerability, deep vulnerability. Right? But I also need her to understand, when you made a decision, it also impacted the other person. Your body or not, it impacted the other person because they felt that they had a child on the way. You understand what I'm saying to you? And she needs to understand that at that point, when you took a decision, at that moment, that person was considerably hurt by what you done and what you are looking to do at the time, regardless of whether it's your body, your choice. You see what I'm saying to you? So I understand where both of these sides, the pain is going to be very heavy, very deep, and they're going to need time to. They're going to have to have real conversations about how they actually feel. You know, they're going to have a real conversation about how they actually feel. So there are no winners. There are no losers. There's no one who's right and more wrong than the other person. Neither should have been ghosting the other person. Neither should have been trying to ignore the other person. There should have been a consensus conclusion. There should have been. But that's painful.
But it turned out that she actually did it anyways.
Ray, did you hear him when he said that?
I heard him, but how could he expect me to keep a child, to bring a child in this world where he does things like that? He doesn't take things serious when it comes to our relationship. You want me to keep a child when you can't even show up? Would you have even showed up if I gave birth to the child? You haven't shown me.
See, and this is the issue right here with both of these. This situation is, and I'm gonna be very real with you. I need her to stop deflecting. Like, both sides are not right in this situation for what they did, right? Because both had different agendas to this. It's going to hurt two people here, right? It's going to hurt two people, right? So, in reality, nobody wins. But now we're in a situation where the therapist asks her, did you hear what he said? And instead of really being accountable in that moment, she looks to deflect on the situation. Could you have been there? Because if you weren't there for the abortion, would you have been there for the birth? Yes. Because that's the whole reason why I told you I wanted to keep the kid. Right? I didn't want to be at the abortion because I didn't agree with your action. Right? So there's that deflection there, and rather than just taking accountability as into, look, I heard you, but I wanted to do what I wanted to do. That's it. That's the truth. You know what I mean? That's the truth. But you deflecting right now by saying, oh, would you have been there at the birth, you know, because you weren't there at the abortion? No. I didn't want to be at the abortion. I told you why. Right? You know? So, and yeah, that's very true. That's very true. The way he treats her now is part of that resentment. And the way she treats him now is part of that, I feel unprotected too. So now we're going to be continually triggering each other in a cycle of trauma. We're going to continually trigger each other. This relationship, they're going to continue triggering each other because she's going to feel unprotected every time he feels resentment. And every time she feels that resentment, she's going to want to fight and be unruly and be, you know, mad about it. That's going to end up triggering him, but then that's going to touch the resentment that he already has. Now he's going to feed that back to her, and it's just going to be a loop, round and round. Round and round. Right? Round and round. You know? Round and round. So, you know? Mr. Don't Players said, a woman I love dearly got an abortion for a dumb excuse fueled by her insecurity. Things went downhill in a flash after that. Yeah. I see how it could, because if you really wanted to have that child and the person didn't, then by all means, you know, that's a situation that will definitely bring a relationship to an end very, very quickly as well, right? So I just want to just skip it back slightly because I think there's some good points. Sorry, I just missed.
He doesn't take things serious when it comes to our relationship. You want me to keep a child when you can't even show up? Would you have even showed up if I gave birth to the child? You haven't shown me any concrete commitment. You're not a man of your words. Like, that shit hurts. And he just let me down.
So here's the thing. She's not talking to him at this point, right? He let me down, he hurt me. It's true, he did. But that's not who she's talking to. She's not talking to him. And this is what happens in dating quite a lot. She's not talking to him. When she said about the commitment and you've let me down and you've hurt me, she's not talking to him and him alone. She's talking to the fact that she has no relationship with her mother, her father, and the immediate family from what we've heard on the show. So her pain is magnified in what he did. Right? The pain was also magnified in the situation. Right? The pain was magnified in the situation. So it's magnified because you had past experiences of someone letting you down. right? You have past experiences of somebody, not being there for you, not protecting you, not keeping you safe. And then it's magnified, it's tripled, it's quadrupled when you then meet a partner and then they do something that makes you feel unprotected, makes you feel hurt, makes you feel whatever in that particular moment.
I can't lie, the session was very difficult. This is the first time we've both spoken openly about determination. And I'm glad that we did, because it made Sean face certain things and answer certain questions that he's refused to answer with me.
Yep, and he needed to answer those questions. If he has not been answering it with you, then he needs to, then he needs to have answered those questions which needed to be answered. He needs to come forth with that, because that is something that will haunt somebody if they don't know why you didn't do what you did. You know what I mean? So yeah, I definitely think that's a real conversation to be had. Okay, I see Daphne behind there. Give me 2 ticks and I'll bring you on, Daphne, in a second or two. But yeah, no, I think again, I think really and truly, I think this situation, this couple, their issues, there has been some suspect behavior from both of them in the very beginning of the relationship. He's lied about his age and, been a bit, immature about 1 or 2 things, but, and she has not been exemplary either with some of the things that he's mentioned as well. But in reality, what she is needing is she needs her own therapy too, man. I can't lie to you. She needs her own therapy. This relationship therapy is great, but she needs her own therapy where she can face herself. Because even with how she was describing everything, she was describing it from a perspective where he was the only one that made a mistake. And I was like, I've been listening to Ray, and a lot of times she cannot see the way she makes a mistake. She only can see where he's made a mistake. And he's younger than her as well. He is. He's younger than her.
So this session was really, really hard. This was a conversation that I didn't expect to come up. I'm almost kind of happy that it did, because I think we needed to kind of get it off our chest. Me not showing up for her, I realized that was the wrong thing to do. I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself, but...
Well, at least he realized that he was disappointed in himself for actually missing the appointment. Listen, I get it, he made a mistake by not supporting her in that moment, and choosing to go about your own way. I do understand why you went your own way, but unfortunately, you missed an opportunity to support the person, even when they did something that you weren't necessarily looking to go and do. But I get it why you didn't want to support her. You should have communicated that though, and said, hey, I can't support you and I can't come to the clinic because I feel some type of way about what we're about to do. That should have been communicated, and look, and let's be honest as well, there's some individual therapy that she will need to do as well, I think, especially after losing a baby too. That can be, losing a baby, but also through the A word, abortion, they say. But that can also be very impactful as well, that someone can go through. And so I don't, I don't want to lighten or lessen the fact that even though she may be functioning through her day-to-day, there is issues that are core underlining at the bottom that needs to be addressed, that needs to be nurtured, that needs to be healed. So that's a real thing right there. So 2 perspectives, 2 different thought processes, and I don't really understand where both are coming from. I don't want to judge either person and say they're wrong for the other. It was just 2 people have 2 different ways of looking at it. and it's a very serious topic that they were going through. So definitely understand that as well. Let me see. Oh, as one more dating thing, there's another part. So funny enough, there's another situation.
I'm so busy with work that I haven't had the chance to hang out with my girls, have a little chit chat, have some drinks, and just offload about all this that's been going on. Okay, so he basically thinks because you know before I met him on Hinge, she liked his profile, which she didn't tell me about.
Oh, he told you?
He told me.
Okay, so there's a situation here which is kind of mad. Basically, there's a mad situation because what ends up happening is Sean, her boyfriend, the guy you just saw, he told her that one of her good friends matched him on Hinge. She liked the Hinge, but he didn't agree to it. And so from there onwards, he's been saying to her that her friend likes him because they've met at some parties that our mutuals are at, and the friends tried to kind of have conversations with him. And so he's kind of said, hey, I can sense that her energy, she kind of likes me. Now you've got a situation with friends there, which is crazy. You know what I mean? I was like, yo. Madness.
And did he accept the like?
No, apparently not. He said no.
Yeah, but you don't know if he did it.
Exactly. I don't know what actually happened.
These guys, you lying.
I know that's right.
She is a sexy girl.
It's looking a bit tight, you know. It's looking a bit tight. That your man says that one of your friends was literally liking him and lets you know, and your friends are saying, hey, have you done your checks yet to make sure? Like, he may have liked her, do you know? Have you gone on his page? It don't look good. It don't look good. It don't look good. I can't lie to you. I wouldn't want to be in that situation. You know what I mean? And if I was the guy, I don't know if I would want to be able, if I want to be able to release that kind of information to you just yet when I don't really know you too tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't know you too tough, releasing that information may be detrimental. But I was like, wait, what's going on here? You know what I mean? I was like, what's going on here? You're talking to your friends and that you have a situation with potentially... he was on Hinge because he was single at the time. So at the time he was single. Sorry, it's getting late in the day, boy. No, he was on Hinge because he was single. So this is before they met. He matched with her friend. Well, sorry, I lie. She liked his Hinge. Sorry, I apologize. So they were on a Hinge before they were in a relationship. It's not nothing to do with him. He wasn't cheating or anything.
Sean seems to think Lide still likes him. I'm not sure. They usually hang out with each other when we're all together at my house. So I don't really see the connection where or how or why Sean thinks that she likes him.
Anyway,
I don't know why that piece of information was even important anyway. Don't know why it was important. Can't lie to you. Didn't really do anything. So for me personally, I don't know why that information was shared. Like, what was the reason, they might say. All right?
See every fucking thing. He told me he went on a family holiday and I'm not invited because it's strictly just family. I'm looking on fucking his sister's Instagram, his cousin's Instagram. Every single person's brought their partner, their kid, their dog, their fucking goldfish. And here's me at home and he's fucking lying to me. And I wanted to tell...
Ooh, baby, this situation real quick. This is my last one. Okay, so this situation here with the couple, basically what's happened is the gentleman who's in there, Michael, his family is a little bit racist. And you know what? He's very scared of bringing his girlfriend to the family because he's afraid of what they might say. Okay? He's afraid of what they might say and what they might feel.
tell you properly. I wanted to wait if you were going to tell me. But since we come and tell him every single thing in the world, can you please tell him why I've not met your family and why you lied to me that everyone wasn't bringing their girlfriends?
Like,
Let me tell you something, baby. When he come out of his mouth and said because she black, I said because she black. I said, oh no, don't do that. Now I was obviously understanding of why he felt some way his way, but I said when you said that she was black, that's the reason why. I said, oh damn, this ain't gonna go down well. This ain't gonna go down well. I said, no, this ain't gonna go down well.
I'll be honest, like, I've never dated a black girl, and I've never brought a black girl home. Like, my family, they're not racist. I'm not racist, obviously. Like, but I feel like I need to set some things in place before.
I don't know. When a situation like that, he hasn't brought no black people home. You haven't discussed with your parents that you have dating a black girl and you've had time to do it. I'll be honest with you. You know, you could have done this earlier on. You got lazy, and by not putting yourself in a place where you can accept your girlfriend to come to your family. You've not done well here. Now, I get the nuance of the situation, which is that it's very difficult when you're talking to a black person about what you can and can't say, and I do get that. But in reality, I'm like, yo, so you haven't brought a black girl home? Ooh, baby, they're going to feel some type of way about you. They're going to feel some way about you. Okay? So, yeah, that I wouldn't advise anybody in a dating situation if the person hasn't been able to speak about their family in a particular way when it comes to black folk. That's probably one of the first conversations you should be having in your dating field. What is your parents' thoughts on black people? What's your parents' thought on what black culture is? There should be, because you're gonna have to educate your family based upon what she's experienced or what you're gonna experience. You feel what I'm saying to you? Yeah, I wouldn't be wanting to put myself in a position where the person's family necessarily isn't all about understanding where black folk, where black folk come from. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, I see you. Is it Ori? Oh man, Ori. Me and my pronunciations are off. Do you have a dilemma? Because this is a dilemma section, so it's not about any addition to the videos. Do you have a dilemma? If you have a dilemma, we want to hear it. If it's not a dilemma, I won't be taking any additions. But if it's a dilemma, babe, I definitely want to hear your thoughts. So I'll bring you up and hear your thoughts. Hey, sis.
Hi. Elevation. Can you hear me?
I can hear you indeed. You're loud and clear. You look clear.
All right, okay, so first of all, hi. How are you?
You're right. I'm good, man. I'm alive.
Love your channel. Okay, so I don't know if I use the word dilemma, but I'll go with it. So I'm 36, and I've run into this pattern that I've noticed with like dating men my age, where they do this thing where they try to rush me to be ready to be serious with them, but then they don't have a plan, like sometimes for their own lives, let alone to fit me into, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, when I was younger and men my age were older, right? I thought there was a level of maturity here between the kind of 35 and 50 range, I guess you would say. But I'm just finding like, it's like, hurry up and like me, hurry up and be serious about me. And then I start asking like deep questions about certain things, blended families, plans. And then it's like, there's nothing to be said or no real answer. So I don't know if I would call it a dilemma, because it's not like making me stay up at night, but I'm curious about what's happening. Like,
So you're wondering why you keep encountering men who are not ready?
I guess you can't really answer that question for me, but I guess I'm asking, do you have input from a man's point of view about why that might be happening kind of at an age where you would expect people to be able to have like deep and transparent conversations about what they want for their own life and how you could be a part of it?
I mean, listen, look, not everyone's a planner. That's the first and foremost thing. But what I would say is that, I think it does show a lack of, I would say leadership when you have a situation where you've got extra proclivities in your relationship, right? Extra children, maybe you've got an ex-wife you have to deal with and mother of your kids. Like, that should already be set in motion. There should already be a plan in place because you like order when it comes to your household. So taking you even out of the equation, there should already be an established pattern of conversation, behavior, and rules of engagement when it comes to dealing with extended family, dealing with, if there's the mother of your kids and the children, right? There should already be a pattern of the way that a person communicates and the way they want things done in their arena, right? If there isn't that space, it tells me that person might not be necessarily a person who plans ahead of time. So you're gonna be dealing with somebody who's on the fly, and maybe somebody who doesn't want to upset the status quo of what's going on between himself and the ex-partner. And so this could be from a perspective, from my perspective, I'm looking at it going, these are not serious candidates, like,
right.
Unfortunately, because because what will happen is their inability to organize some stuff will end up you falling in line
right.
of the madness that's already going on. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's not to say that you can't help that, but the reality of the situation is you want a man that's already got that handled. If he's got a kid here or a kid there and he's got the mothers of his kids, he should already have a plan in motion to say, hey, how I engage with my mother of my kids, I make sure that X, Y, and Z is in place. You know what I mean? And
right.
Again, this is not about crazy leadership. This is just about someone who wants to organize. You know what I mean?
Right. It's not me coming at like trying to interrogate you, because all those things, those semantics have to be worked out, because there's a different equation, right? But it's just like, if I ask you a question, you should have like a very transparent answer, like, hey, we've just been doing this the last 2 years. It's just like the co-parenting thing, or if I'm asking about like, where do you see yourself in, say, for example, you're between corporate and going into entrepreneurship, like, you should be able to talk about that, or what childhood traumas have you had to work through? Are you working through? Like, it's like, what is this rush to get me interested, but then this pause on being an adult? And so it's like, I don't just attract that, but I just see a lot of it. And it's just like you said, it's immediate kind of dismissal, like, no disrespect or anything, but because if you ask me, I can answer, and whether you accept my answer or not is okay, but it's like, I can answer the question. Like, so I have just seen a lot of that, and I'm like, I don't know if this happens at this age range. Like, is this a theme, or you know what I'm saying? What's happening? But I'm like, why can't you answer a grown person question? What is happening? Yeah.
I mean, listen, yeah. I mean, it does happen. I think people can sometimes. I think sometimes what can happen is that people can. Are different stages of their life, and they may just not be in the difference may not be in the difference that they I'm going to say this properly. Okay, so they may be at a stage in their life and they may not have come to a place of maturation when it comes to handling family affairs. You know what I mean? So there may be other things that they're good at, but family affairs, they may not have reached maturation in how they handle those particular things. But again, I would then state that their disorganization will throw you into chaos.
Right.
Because you'll end up trying to do what women normally tend to do, which is you try to help and you try to supplicate, right? But all that will end up doing is either you end up taking over the role of trying to supplicate things and then actually messing it up. Because actually, really and truly, you shouldn't be the one talking to the ex, or you shouldn't be the one talking to the mother of his kids.
Right.
You shouldn't be the one organizing stuff. It should be him So he's setting the tone and making it ready. So there's nothing wrong with you asking those key questions in regards to what he is doing and what you expect from him in that aspect. You know, so there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate
That's
you.
right.
I like your haircut. It looks good.
You very much.
You're very welcome. Have a good night.
You too, babe. Much love. All right. Do you have any other dilemmas, guys? We still got a bit of time, but any other dilemmas as well, guys? Any other dilemmas we got along the way? Any other dilemmas we got, so guys? Click on the link and we'll definitely have a conversation going forward. Let me know your thoughts. What dilemmas do we have, guys? To be fair, we've actually only got like 2 minutes anyway, so I think our time is almost up anyway. I always like to do an hour, and unless we got crazy stuff going on. Okay, well, listen, if you haven't got any more people want to do dilemmas, then I think it's time. I gotta wake up early to get myself to Jamaica. Okay, all right. So, listen, audience, it's been amazing. It's been great. It's been wonderful. It's been powerful. I know we didn't get to ask any dilemmas. I will put up the next one for the next time so we can get ahead of time. Someone said, "What is my dilemma?" I can't say what my dilemma is right now. You know, but definitely some dilemmas that are going on as well. But yeah, listen, we're gonna love you and leave you, and we'll see you guys a little bit later on. I've got a nice little interview coming up with Christopher from Love Experiment. If you guys remember Love Experiment, I managed to get a hold of Christopher. We're gonna sit down and interview him on his experience on the show. So I'll try and line up a few more for the MTV Love Experiment. I really want to get some people on board for that because that was really good interviews as well. Okay. But make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button. We'll see you guys soon. Sean said less than 72 hours. Yeah, baby. We in JA, baby. I'm gonna be there by Thursday because I'm booking ahead of everybody else. So, and I'll definitely send you guys, you know, some content. Hopefully, I can do some as well. Nichelle said, "Safe travels, baby." Wait, I'm gonna need you to hit the DMs here in the show, okay? All right, don't play with me right now, okay? All right, I'm my bad boy error. All right, okay. You someone supplied the application form, okay? Nichelle, just saying. All right, cool. Listen, I gotta go. Okay, gotta go. Much love, much appreciation, and we'll see you again soon, baby.